Good evening. First tonight, the number of child abuse images shared online in the South East has reached an all-time high. That's according to an investigation by the NSPCC, prompting a warning that child abuse has become normalised. Figures show that in the 12 months to April 2022, our forces recorded more than 2,600 offences of indecent images of children posted online. That's more than double the number reported 5 years ago, where just over 1,300 pictures were reported. And nearly half of all cases in the past year across the South East were reported to police in Kent. Our reporter Josie Hannett has been speaking to one young victim.
It became my whole life. My every waking moment I was worried about who was going to message me next, and it got to the point where I really didn't know where to turn.
Eleanor was 15 years old when naked pictures she sent her boyfriend on Snapchat were screenshotted and spread around group chats on social media. Now 7 years on, she says it still affects her every day.
I never really used to be particularly shy, but I've definitely got a shyness about me now. I'm not as outgoing. I mean, at the time it impacted me so much that I was diagnosed with anxiety and depression, and I even started to lose my hair.
It's become the new normal that most teenagers and some children have a phone, or at least they have access to the internet. And we know that since the pandemic, they've been spending more time online. Now, if you think about it, the internet is quite literally in their pockets, and in just a matter of seconds, they have access to more than 7 million apps to download. The NSPCC found that nearly a third of indecent images of children last year were posted on social media apps or gaming sites. Most pictures were found on Snapchat, involved in 43% of cases where a social media site was flagged. Meanwhile, 33% of cases involved apps owned by Meta, that's Facebook, Instagram and WhatsApp.
The online safety bill is a really important child protection measure, and we welcome that it's now being discussed in the Lords, but we want to see the government take this opportunity to strengthen it even further. We would like the government to commit to introducing an advocacy body for children.
Nearly half of the offences in the South East in the last year were reported to Kent Police.
We've analysed people's computers and the digital devices to be able to prove that offences have occurred in certain locations and been carried out by individuals.
Snapchat says any account which shares sexual content exploiting minors will be deleted and the offender will be reported to the authorities. Meanwhile, Meta says they use technology to prevent and remove this content. The government says the online safety bill will force social media firms to keep children safe, or they could be hit with big fines.
There needs to be tougher legislation in place. I think people have a real emphasis on education, but we were educated, we knew it was wrong, I knew it was wrong, and he definitely knew it was wrong to share those images.
In Eleanor's case, arrests were made but no charges were brought. She hopes getting her story out there is enough to stop others thinking about spreading illegal pictures online. Josie Hannett, BBC South East Today.
Well, let's speak to the Police and Crime Commissioner for Surrey, Lisa Townsend. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. The number of child abuse images shared online, as we heard in that report, in the South East has almost doubled. It's a pretty worrying trend, isn't it? Can you tell us what's going wrong?
Yeah, it is very worrying, and as your reporter said in that, it's all too easy, sadly. And, you know, young people have devices quite simply in their pockets. And we're seeing crime generally more online. It is, unfortunately, in that sense, crime online is becoming normalised. And whereas it used to be the case that we talked about stranger danger out and about on the streets, now, unfortunately, that's happening in our own homes and, as your reporter said, in children's pockets.
The NSPCC is pointing the finger at unregulated social media. The online safety bill, as I'm sure you know, is going through the Lords at the moment. Are you confident there's enough in that legislation to stop this?
I would like to see the legislation toughened, actually, because if this was happening in a bricks and mortar organisation or institution, the law would be very, very clear on it, and I think we would all be very, very clear that it's not on. The fact that it's happening online doesn't make our children any safer, in fact quite the opposite, because it's happening right under parents' noses, and where it's very difficult for police officers to be and to see it, and for adults to see it. So I would like to see organisations such as Meta facing stricter penalties if they do allow this sort of behaviour to carry on. And it's not just about the sharing of indecent images, as important and awful as that is. Grooming goes well beyond that.
In Surrey, the number of offences appears to have levelled off over the past 2 or 3 years. Are you confident that in Surrey victims feel like they're able to come forward?
I hope so, and that will be both for parents and of course young people to feel they can have those conversations with each other and then to come to the police. We are seeing reports rising, which of course is a good thing. We do want more people to feel comfortable reporting it. I know that our team in Surrey are working incredibly hard. We've seen investigations go up 70%, and I was recently out with the team on a warrant, and I know they work incredibly hard, and I know some of the care that we supply to victims is some of the best, certainly in the region.
OK, Lisa Townsend, the Police Crime Commissioner for Surrey, thank you very much for joining us this evening.
You.